Hey everyone, so as you look over this list of incredible YouTubers who helped get me started and you listen to the sweet sounds of my Ender 3 printing in the background, let's get ready to talk about Siraya Blu resin. That's the topic today. Let's see if this resin is worth the extra dollars that it costs. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Hello everyone, I'm here today to talk about another resin that I've tested, and this one is the Siraya Blu. Now I have to be honest, when I first got my Photon a long time ago, I actually had read that Siraya Blu was supposed to be a good resin, so I'd actually bought a small bottle, I think this size, and tried using it. Of course I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have disc supports like I do now, so of course I had like a bunch of failures. Correlation doesn't prove causation, but back then I thought, I don't like this resin. And the funny thing is also it's a little more expensive. It's supposed to be higher quality, but I wasn't getting good results because I didn't know what I was doing. So I was like, I'm paying more money and this stuff doesn't work. I thought, since I don't know what I'm doing, let me go to a cheaper resin. So I started buying the Elegoo Gray. So as I learned what I was doing and got dialed in, of course I started getting great results with the Elegoo Gray. So I just stuck with it. So you guys who have been looking at my prints for like 5 months after that, we're seeing all Elegoo Gray, my go-to resin, and I did get fabulous results with it. And then I realized, you know what, now that I know what I'm doing, maybe I should go back to one of the more expensive resins, and it's slightly more expensive, that's supposed to be better, and actually see. And what actually woke me up was when I tested the E-Sun water washable resin, and I actually got clearer, more detailed results than I did with my Elegoo Gray. I realized, wait a second, the cheapest resin, maybe that's not what I should be using. So I have the Siraya Blu, and I printed up, like a bunch of stuff with it. Here's Sol from the Artisans Guild, came out beautiful. Here's the Orc Beauty from the Artisans Guild, the Dwarf Beauty from the Artisans Guild. I'll have pictures coming up, all these, and also the Dro with the tentacle, which everyone likes. And then what I also did was, I know a lot of people mix the Siraya Blu with something like the Elegoo Gray. So you take the expensive resin, mix it with the cheap resin, and you get a kind of blend. And again, I'll picture these up close. You get a blend which is no longer clear, but it's supposed to retain what is supposed to be the good properties of the Siraya Blu, which is, Siraya Blu is supposed to be tougher, stronger, those are kind of the same, less prone to breakage, survive drop tests better, all those kind of things. So I'm not going to do drop tests, but I do have a kind of a strength test for it, which I think came out fairly interesting for me, a little surprising actually. So you'll take a look at that in a few seconds. So first let's talk about the marketing. So the marketing material for Siraya Blu, like if you go look on Amazon, it says that it's, you can use it for real parts because it's a lot stronger than normal resin. It's not brittle, doesn't break as easily, it doesn't smell. So let's talk about all that stuff. So you'll see from later on in this review, I do agree that's a lot stronger and less brittle than say the Elegoo Gray. You'll see when I test it that the difference is pretty amazing. As for not smelly, I actually find in its liquid form, to me, it was actually maybe even a little bit smellier. I mean, if you're properly ventilating where you're working, this won't matter. But I actually found the smell to be a tiny little bit stronger. But when you cure it, once it's cured, it's odorless. I think all of mine are odorless once they're cured. I don't really smell anything on them once they're cured. And on the mixed version with Elegoo Gray, also there's no scent. So I don't think that part matters. But as to the toughness, you'll see a test coming up of that, and it is a little more expensive. So I think that's why a lot of people do what I did here, which is. This is a 50-50 mix of Elegoo Gray with the Siraya, so it is stronger, less brittle, and it doesn't cost as much because you mix a cheap resin with a more expensive resin. I see people do as little as 10 or 20%, but I think if you, to me, and I didn't do scientific tests obviously, but just I've done a lot of printing, so I get the feel for it. I felt like a 50-50 mix for me is where I could really tell that I had Siraya Blu in there, and that's actually affecting the model. I think, again, just my opinion, but mixing less than that in, I'm not sure you're really going to get those properties of the blue that you want to transfer to your cheaper resin. So I'm going to go, when I use it from now on, it's going to be the 50-50 mix. The other thing I will say, aside from testing, the clear resin, and to me, I can be a little colorblind sometimes, so it's not quite blue to me. It's kind of like a bluish green, and some parts, on the thinner parts, almost looks totally clear, with just a little hint of color. If you're someone who doesn't paint at all, I think this resin is amazing. I wouldn't mix with anything because you're not going to paint at all. This resin looks amazing, like as a display piece. I mean, it looks really, really cool. And when the light hits it in certain ways, you can see all the details. If the light's not hitting it properly, you know, it's actually harder to see the details, obviously, because it's clear. And you'll see in my photos coming up, I have a little bit of trouble. It's hard to photograph something like this and really get all the details out. You know, priming it brings those details out, but I didn't want to prime it because I wanted to show you guys, you know, the raw product. And I think my pictures are good enough that you can see what it does. And I have to say that, considering that it's way stronger than other resins I've used, it holds detail incredibly well. There's definitely no loss of detail, and if anything, you'll see coming up in the pictures, I'm pretty sure that this detail, you know, is definitely equal to what I get on the Elegoo Gray, and I think, you know, this is on my Epax X1, which does great detail anyway, a little better than the Photon. And the detail, like on the shield and on the other parts, I mean, the detail came out really crisp and clear. So I'm really happy with the resin in the terms of the way it printed. I think it prints better than just the plain Elegoo Gray, the cheaper resin. I think this does get a little more precise somehow. I'm not sure the chemistry and the physics and how it all works in terms of some resins print a little better. Like I said, my washable gray resin was definitely better than my Elegoo Gray. Definitely came out sharper and clearer. And to me, this also looks a little clearer. Details look a little better than with the cheaper resin, which is good. If you pay more, not only should the resin be stronger, you would hope it would print better as well. And this seems to have printed better. And like I said, if you're just going to display a piece, I think this kind of clearish resin looks awesome, you know, for a display type piece. So anyway, let's get into some pictures, and actually let's go to the break test now, just to get that out of the way, and then we'll just look at some close-up pictures, and then we'll be done. And I'll give you my recommendation now in case you don't want to look at any pictures or see the break test. I would definitely recommend, if you haven't tried Siraya Blu, to definitely try some. And if you don't paint, like I said, I think it's a great resin for people who don't paint because it turns every model looks like a showpiece. The only caveat, I think a tiny little bit smellier in its liquid form than my other resin, as far as I could tell. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty great resin, I think. And I'm pretty excited. I'm definitely going to be mixing it in and using it. I'm going to try mixing it like with my water washable resin, see if that, you know, if that doesn't blow up and start a fire or something. I'm going to try a couple other different mixes, and we'll see what happens. So, all right, let's get right into the break test from here. All right. Okay, this part of the video I literally hate because to break something that I actually worked on and print it just kills me. But for the sake of the review, I must do this. So first, I'm going to take the Elegoo Gray one. Which is a little, you know, a lot more brittle, not a little more. So let me just get a firm hold of it, and then I can just snap it in half there. And now let me take the Siraya Blu piece, and I'm gonna snap this one. Get a nice firm hold, and it will not snap. Okay, so let me bend it more and more. I'm gonna bend this thing horizontal, and look, it's not breaking. This is crazy. Like, it's literally horizontal. You can see I can't break it. I'm just going to work it back and forth till it breaks. So, and eventually it'll break, of course. So pretty amazing for a break test. And this just shows you just how high quality this resin is. It's really hard to break. There it goes. So here is Sol, and you see what I was talking about, it being a showpiece. Just printing in this resin alone just makes it look, you know, you can just put that on a shelf and it looks great without painting it. It's a little hard to see how well it captured the detail, but if you look over the model, you can see a lot of fine details. I think from here you might notice how well the toes came out, for instance, or look at his right thumb, the thumb on the hand that's gripping the spear. So the other arm's not even there, of course. Look how clear that right thumb bent down over the other fingers. Look how beautifully clear it printed out. And this is with it being a little hard to see. So you see the level of detail here. And I don't know if you can make out well the floral, the leaf pattern on the boots. Just really printed out beautifully. So this is just to give you an idea what the resin looks like, kind of, you know, just sitting out on your shelf if you don't want to paint it. Now let's look a little closer at another print that I've done before with the Elegoo Gray, and now I've redone with this. So
the first thing I'd like you to notice is look at the fang here. You can clearly see the fang, which on my Elegoo Gray I couldn't really make out at all, to be honest. So this printed out with a slightly higher level of detail. And I didn't realize that till I zoomed in on my high-res pics and then looked at my pics of my Elegoo. Now here, look how that thin little eyebrow up there, see, curving up above her eye. On my Elegoo Gray, I can't make that out. And here, even though this is clear resin, it should be hard to see, I can very clearly make out that tiny little eyebrow. So it's pretty amazing, the detail capture. And that's, thanks to this resin and thanks to, the Epax X1 also. And then here, another point you could really see is look at her toenails. You can actually see the toenails. Those are so incredibly small. I mean, this figure is only 34 millimeters tall as it is. So those toenails are just super duper tiny. Look how nicely they came out. And then the last thing I want to show you is I said I mixed the Elegoo Gray with this Siraya Blu to get a much stronger type of mix. And let's look how that came out. So you can see here, and even this didn't photograph that well, but look at the level of detail. This laurel print going up this, and you can see how small the shield is. It's barely bigger than my fingernail. The lines cut into the shield and the detail of the leaf pattern on the shield, and it's even clearer than this. Like I said, it's really hard to photo this well to show all the detail. And I primed it, you'd see a lot more, I think, but you can see this resin just prints beautifully, and I love it mixed like this. Really, really came out nice. So I would, I highly recommend buying this resin and mixing it with whatever your favorite resin is, like in a 50-50 mix, getting something, I believe, that's stronger and tougher, prints really nice and clear, and you just have a higher quality piece when you're done. So, and if you do buy it, I have a link here. It doesn't cost you extra. It just links you to Amazon, but it does help the channel a little bit if you do. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and I have lots of videos that teach you how to actually support models so they come out looking nice and clean like mine did here. And that's it for today. Thanks, everyone.